Remy Ma went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast. She sat there, kept her composure, and said something that had nothing to do with her divorce, except it had everything to do with her divorce. The clip was caught by Live Beatus on Instagram. Remy made the point that lyrical, miracle, rappers the ones who live and die by technical skill, don't tend to make serious money in this industry. She said it casually, like she was just talking about the culture in general. No raised voice, no dramatic pause, just a woman having a conversation. She never said Papoose's name.
To maneuver with this guy and get a word in, throughout the years. You notice he's able to talk a little bit more now.
But here's what was sitting in the background when she said it. Papoose had gone on an IG Live, an extended, messy, very public one, and told anyone watching that he wrote 90% of the rhymes that came out of Remy's mouth throughout her career. He specifically named Conceited, her 2006 breakout record, as something he authored. He went further than that. He made noise about money, financial problems behind the scenes, mismanagement, allegations that things in that household were not what the public love story looked like.
I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth. And with me saying that, I want to say this to y'all.
There were even reports that he had pawned some of her jewelry during a period of financial strain. His whole rant was built to reframe who Remy Ma actually is. Not a self-made artist, but someone who needed him to exist. So when she gets on the Joe and Jada podcast and talks about how lyrical rappers don't get paid, the people who had been watching the situation connected it immediately. There was no ambiguity for anyone paying attention. She was talking about the industry, and she was also talking directly at him. Both things at the same time, in the same sentence, on camera. My siam. The dangerous part was how calm she was while she did it. There was no way for Papoose to respond to that comment without confirming he heard himself in it. If he goes online and claps back at lyrical miracle rappers don't make money, he's publicly admitting he recognized himself in her words. He understood the trap. He stayed quiet. She got the hit off clean. Joe and Jada launched in May 2025 in partnership with Rock Nation and Boost Mobile. It became one of the most watched hip-hop podcasts, running with Fat Joe and Jadakiss talking music, culture, and everything in between. It was not a small stage. Remy showing up there and saying what she said was not an accident. And Fat Joe sitting there, letting it happen, not redirecting the conversation. That's worth paying attention to, because this is the same Fat Joe who went on Math Hoffa's My Expert Opinion podcast and said he genuinely loves Papoose. Called him his goddaughter's father, said he woke up one morning, his phone was going crazy with the drama, and that Remy had never even discussed her personal life with him directly. He made clear he was caught in the middle and couldn't stop what was happening between them.
And I woke up in the morning and my phone was going crazy, and they was like, yo, look what's going on. I'm like, what the fuck?
That man hosted Remy Ma on his show. Let her say what she said. Did not steer the conversation anywhere else. In hip-hop, when someone at Fat Joe's level does that, it is not a neutral act. It is a quiet signal. And quiet signals from people at that level carry serious weight. He didn't call a press conference. He didn't post a statement. He just let the moment breathe on his own platform. And that was enough. On April 10th, 2026, Remy dropped W.Y.F.L, Y-U-F, *** King Lying. She announced it herself on Instagram.
Those hits, when they whole career, they ain't never ghost wrote shit. Not for me or anybody else.
W.Y.F.L, out now on all platforms. #Rem the pen, wait for what? That wait for what was pointed. People had been asking for months whether she would respond to everything Papoose said publicly. She answered that question with the title before anyone pressed play. She performed it live on The Radar. The beat came from DJ Mac and Crash Dummy's viral W.Y.F.L rhythm, which had been circulating with the original meaning, why ya feel like. Remy flipped the acronym before she rapped a single word. Y-U-F*** King Lying. The rename alone told you where the song was going. On the ghostwriting claim, she didn't ease into it. The nerve of Nas claiming they wrote those hits / when they whole career They ain't never ghost wrote shit / not for me or anybody else / you always act like you helped a tang, go help yourself. Not for me or anybody else is doing the heaviest lifting in that bar. She's not just denying that he wrote her lyrics. She's saying his ghostwriting career doesn't exist. Not for her, not for any other artist. She is dismantling the entire premise of his claim, not just the personal accusation. If Papoose's argument was, I wrote her records, Remy's response was, you've never written anyone's records. Then she addressed the money directly. See, I know what the problem is. I don't really brag enough / but you don't talk about prices when your bag is up. This is not a boast. It's a statement about who actually had financial standing in that relationship. The implication is clear. People who are genuinely secure don't need to make public noise about who held things together. Person making noise about the money is telling you something about where they actually stand with it. On Claressa Shields. In competition with herself, I don't know that bitch / hose be doing the most over so-so dick / wanna be a baddie. But you not bad enough. Claressa's entire public identity is built on being the most dominant woman in the room. She calls herself the GWOOT, greatest woman of all time. That's not casual branding. That's the foundation of how she presents herself to the world in every interview, every post, every moment. Every moment. Not bad enough is a direct hit on that exact identity. It's not a random insult, it's targeted. Then, how you talking out your neck when I know how you *** neck work? One line, nothing more needed. And the bar that moved fastest across every platform. How I never get added, but I always get mentions. This is the line that put the entire situation into a single couplet and described it accurately. At no point in any of their public responses had Papoose or Claressa directly said Remy's name. They posted vague stories. They went live without tagging anyone. They made it clear without making it official, always stopping just short of the direct address. Remy called that behavior out explicitly, in a song, on record, on a streaming platform. You keep having this conversation without being willing to put my name in it. You mention me without mentioning me. She made that dynamic impossible to ignore by naming it. Fat Joe reposted the track the same day with Jesus Christ at Remy Ma is back KKK. The man who said he loves both sides, who said he doesn't want to get involved, who said he can't stop what's happening between them, reposted the diss track publicly with 12 fire emojis. That's not staying neutral. That's a position. He made his choice without saying he was making a choice, which is exactly the kind of move Remy herself had been running from the start. The day after W.Y.F.L dropped, April 11th, Claressa Shields posted an Instagram story. No name, no tag, no context. I stop myself at least twice a day from posting some *** that might stir the pot. The Shade Room posted it. The comment section split immediately. Some people said Remy came first and Claressa had every right to respond. Others pointed out that someone who genuinely isn't bothered doesn't post about not posting. At Chris Stalazier wrote plainly, just make sure you at whoever it's for. At Mayor Ivani wrote, after Remy dropped that, I would have just let Pap respond. Claressa also went live separately. The clip was picked up by Lifebeatus.
You don't like me, and what are you going to do about it? Are you going to, you feel me?
She said directly to whoever she felt was coming for her. You don't like me. And what are you going to do about it? You feel me. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to do us ***. T. All that mumbo jumbo, all that talking, all that tweeting. Just move on. Then she added, anyone who's making videos about little old me. Excuse me, big old GWOO8. Your life is not all the way together, honey. Still no name. Still presented like a general message to anyone hating on her. Here's the thing about Claressa's position in all of this. She is an Olympic gold medalist, a 3-division world boxing champion. She is engaged to Papoose. By every public measurement, she is on the winning side of this situation. She has the man. She has the ring. She has an athletic career that has nothing to do with any of this drama. The person who has genuinely won a situation does not need to post about it the morning after a diss track drops. She posted twice. The story and the live, both on April 11th, both within 24 hours of W.Y.F.L releasing. It's worth noting she was already managing a separate public situation at the same time. 50 Cent had been trolling her online for months, making allegations about her personal life. She threatened legal action against him in March after he made a specific claim about her and someone named Maserati Bud. She and Papoose responded to 50 together. Papoose calling him a liar, Claressa threatening a defamation lawsuit. So she had two active public conflicts running at once. And still found time to post about Remy the day after the track. The bar Remy wrote, "How I never get aided, but I always get mentioned," described what was happening before it happened. Then Claressa posted the story and proved it in real time, on the exact timeline the bar had already mapped out. What makes the podcast moment particularly sharp is what it revealed about how Remy was processing all of this publicly. Papoose had made a specific, damaging on-camera claim that he was the pen behind her career. That kind of accusation, if left unanswered, starts to calcify in public opinion. People hear it enough times and it becomes a version of the truth. Remy understood that. But instead of going on a live and getting emotional about it, or posting a response thread on X, she picked a conversation on a major platform and made a point about the industry that anyone could agree with on its surface. She created a moment that the audience did the heavy lifting on. She didn't have to say, "He's lying." The audience said it for her, on her behalf, across every comment section and group chat that shared the clip. That's a different level of image management than most people in these situations reach for. Papoose's original claim also included something specific about Remy's 2017 diss track aimed at Nicki Minaj, Shether. He suggested in his IG Live rant that he had a hand in that record too. Shether was widely considered one of the sharpest, most detailed diss tracks in recent hip-hop history. It was the record that had people debating whether Remy was the best active female MC alive. If Papoose wrote or co-wrote that, it rewrites a significant chapter of hip-hop history. Remy's W.Y.F.L bar, "Not for me or anybody else," was also addressing that specific claim. She was saying he has no credits on anything, anywhere. The bar on the track aimed at Claressa also had a specific layer to it beyond the surface read. Claressa had been very vocal online during the months leading up to W.Y.F.L. She posted frequently about being happy, about her relationship with Papoose, about their future together. She announced their engagement in November 2025. She spoke about having a family. She was actively building a public narrative around her and Papoose as a couple. Very visible, very loud about it. The "in competition with herself" bar reads as a response to all of that. Remy was saying Claressa is working overtime to prove something to an audience that wasn't asking for the proof. On the W.Y.F.L track, Remy also included a line that was read as a reference to Claressa offering to fight her in person multiple times during their public beef. "Why would I fight you? When I got a gun, bitch?" That bar had actually appeared on a different record, Connie Diamond's Head Tap, which Remy appeared on in September 2025, months before W.Y.F.L. That earlier record was the first time Remy directly addressed Claressa on wax, referencing the many times Shields had called for a physical confrontation. By the time W.Y.F.L came out in April 2026, Remy had already been in the booth about the situation for months. W.Y.F.L wasn't a reactive move made in the heat of the moment. It was the next step in something she had been building deliberately. The fan reaction to W.Y.F.L played out across platforms in real time. Every bar got its own thread, its own breakdown video, its own debate. People who had been following the situation since December 2024, when the screenshots of alleged texts between Papoose and Claressa first surfaced, when Papoose went public with his own accusations. When Easy the Block Captain entered the story claiming Papoose had put a GPS tracker on Remy's car, finally had a concrete piece of music to anchor everything to, not a vague comment, not a cryptic story. A song on every streaming platform with Remy Ma's name on it. The podcast comment landed with no name attached, and no way for Papoose to respond without confirming he was the target. The track documented every allegation. The ghostwriting lie, the money claims Claressa, on record, on streaming platforms, timestamped and permanent. Claressa's response came within 24 hours, nameless, which is exactly the dynamic Remy had already described in the music before it happened. 3 moves. Every one of them did exactly what it was supposed to do. What's also worth tracking is what hasn't happened yet. Papoose has not directly responded to W.Y.F.L. He has not gone on record to address the bars Remy aimed at him. Claressa posted but didn't name her. The ghostwriting receipts Papoose claimed to have, the proof he said he could produce that he wrote her records, have not surfaced publicly. The longer that goes, the more the silence works against him. Because Remy's version of events is now on Wax, on streaming platforms, indexed and searchable, his version is still just an IG live that people have to go looking for. Nobody in this situation is unbothered. They're just performing it in different formats, the story, the live video, and the song. Remy put hers in the music. That's where it lives now.